Hello, my fellow crystal lover. So today's lesson is going to be about programming your crystals. And you might be asking yourself, what does programming your crystals mean? It's kind of like when we program our computer. We're giving it a job. We're setting a specific intention to it. So it's debatable out there in the holistic healing world, in the crystal world, if you even need to program your crystals. So my 2 cents on that, with my 9 years of working with crystals, is that it's not going to hurt anything, right? And crystals are just energy, so helping to give them a focus and exactly what to do with their energy, in my mind, might be beneficial. And I've gone back and forth with this. In the very beginning, I was very regimented about programming my crystals. Then I got away from it and thought, well, they're divine beings. They have all the ancient information that they need when they were created from Earth. And then I flipped back over into the thinking of, why would we not give them a job, right? Like, I went to school, for example, to teach school to children, to teach special ed specifically. But my knowledge base was huge from going to school for however long I went, and then my continuing education. So when I would go in and write lesson plans or IEPs for each specific student, I had to individualize them, right? That's why they're on something called an IEP, an individualized education plan. So when I started looking at healing work or working with crystals from that lens, from that perspective, I realized that of course it's necessary, right? Because when you read about the crystals, they can do so many different things. So why not help the crystal focus and harness that energy on what you specifically need from that? So that's my perspective. From going back and forth, I don't think it's going to hurt anything not to program your crystal, but I think why not? Especially when you got a crystal for a specific reason, right? So to program your crystal, it's really quite simple. You can just hold it in your hand and you can really just connect with it and set that intention first, just to connect with the crystal. Some people are very in tune and very gifted and will get messages from their crystals. For example, I specifically work best for this, or this is the way I can help you. Some people don't hear messages from crystals, and that's just fine. You can just simply place your hand on it and kind of talk to the crystal energetically, telepathically, and let it know that this is what you're working on right now. You could take your clear quartz point and say, I am working on making a big decision in my life. I really need some help with that. I need to be laser focused. And so setting the intention around making that decision, that's just one example off the top of my head that you could do with the crystal. I happen to be holding a clear quartz, which technically they don't necessarily need to be programmed, but you could also use a clear quartz to program your crystal, to amplify your intention. Kind of just holding the clear quartz, directing the energy of the quartz, which is a silicon-based crystal. That's why they call it Silicon Valley, right? Because that's where they make so much of the software and computer stuff. Silicon is what's needed to be used in our quartz watches, in our television sets, and in our computers, because it's an energy amplifier, an energy conductor. So clear quartz, pretty cool. So you can use this along with setting your intention to help to give your crystal a specific job. Rose quartz is one that people use a lot, because some popular jobs to give your crystals, some of the most popular I've seen are love, money, wealth, prosperity, new ideas, focus, sleep, and anxiety. That's a huge one I see also with people. So if you're wanting to attract more love in your life, right, you have to first really feel worthy of it on a deep level. We can all say, oh, I'm worthy of love, blah, 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 but our actions in our life might show differently in the way we eat and in the way we treat ourselves and the way we think. So just be aware of that. You may be ready for love, but are you really ready for love? So that being said, rose quartz would be a great crystal that you could use, that you could program for love. And that would be another crystal as well. If you watch my previous video on crystal elixirs, if you haven't, I suggest watching that, because clear or rose quartz is a great stone that you can program for love and also use in your crystal elixir, so that you're taking the energy internally. Or even in a bath, you could even do it that way. If you are wanting to manifest more abundance, prosperity in your life, which who doesn't want more abundance and prosperity, right? It equals freedom, so that we have the choices to make in our life. That would be citrine, would be one of my recommendations anyway. And it's also hard enough to be a crystal elixir as well. Because once you program your crystal, once you give it a job, then it's like, what do you do with it, right? So one of the things you can do with it is use it as an elixir, which again, watch my previous video on that. But just keeping it with you, keeping the energy around you so that you can really connect to your crystal. They're little beings. They can become like your friend. They're emitting an energy. You're emitting an energy. There's an attraction like a magnet. That's why you might be attracted to certain crystals. Even though I may say use this crystal for love, you may be attracted to, say, green aventurine. So you always have to go with what you're attracted to the most, because there's a reason for that, for sure. So you can use them as an elixir, as I've been speaking of, in your bath water. This is, of course, as long as they are hard enough, like a Mohs hardness scale of 7 or more, you should be fine. You can sleep with them, you can carry them in your pocket, you can wear them in jewelry. And if you're wearing your crystal in jewelry, just program it the exact same way. For example, this bracelet here that I'm wearing is selenite. And I know that selenite is a great cleansing crystal. It's great to use even with sage, on a little side note. So I might program this specifically to cleanse my heart space, cleanse out any clutter or debris or heartache or anything that I haven't healed yet, even in a subconscious, unseen level. Because again, if we're working on attracting love to our life, we have to be ready for that. So that's just an example I'm coming with off the top of my head, but selenite would be a great stone for that. So giving it a job, giving it a laser focus, purpose, and an intention. Okay, so I hope this video helped to clarify and helped you to decide if programming a crystal is worth your time and energy, something that you might want to try. This is actually one of the reasons why I created my crystal journal, which I don't have down here with me because I wasn't planning on talking about that, was because when you're working with the crystals, a lot of times the energy is very subtle. And so it's easy to forget, did I feel different when I was working with the selenite? What worked better, the selenite or the rose quartz? Or should I combine them? These are things to keep track of. And you could do that in my crystal journal. I have a PDF one that you can just download and print out. Or I have like one already bound that you can buy on Amazon. So I will, I'll put links below for the journals, because I think that would be really nice if you're really starting to dive in and work with the crystals. It's nice to keep track of it, to know what's working for you and what isn't working for you. So thanks for watching today, and if you enjoy these videos, feel free to share it out and follow my page.